In our previous videos, we've seen how to load data from a CSV file into a data frame, and we've seen how to slice that data frame by rows and columns. In this video, we're going to apply that one more time, but this time we're going to look at how to slice a string and how to concatenate a string and then make a new column out of that string. And after that, we can use that string to do things like sorting and grouping and the like. So I'm starting right where I left off on my previous notebook, where we've loaded the data for Cincinnati Health Clinics. And now we're looking just at the column called Monday Close. And we're going to see that most of these are in a time format that's not unexpected. So 5:00 space PM. Unfortunately, with those extra characters in it, the colon and the space and the P and the M, it doesn't recognize this as a number, but rather as a string. But maybe we want to do some manipulation on this. So let's try a couple things. I'm going to access that column as I have before, and I'm going to use str on it. Let's just see what this gives us. Okay, well, gives us a little bit of information, but actually what it does is it opens up this column to us and treats it as a string so that we can slice. Now, if we look at the data in the column, we'll see, okay, it looks like about 2 characters for the hour, although in this case the first is not used given that they all close before 10 p.m. But nonetheless, about 2 characters for the hour, 1 for the colon, 2 characters for the minute, and then 1 for the space and 2 for the PM. We can slice a string just like we can slice columns in a data frame. So what I'll do is I'll say 0:1. And what does that give me? Well, it gives me just the that first number, the 5, the 4, so on and so forth, which is important. It's going to give me that hour. Now, most clinics close right on the hour, but there are a few that close at some kind of funny times, like quarter past or half an hour past. So let's go ahead and grab the minutes as well, and we'll use this similar kind of construction. This time I've said 2:4, which means start with the character at the 2 position and end at the character at the 4 position, but don't include 4. Just as before, we notice that it is begin index is inclusive, end index is exclusive. So we include what's at that first number. We do not include what's at the last number, but up to not including that last number. As a matter of fact, now that I look at this, I realize I made an invalid assumption earlier. I said there were 2 characters for hour, but now looking back at what I've done here, I realize it's only 1 character for hour, because we're picking up character 0 and we're stopping before character 1. And that's what gives us a single digit. I imagine if we did have clinics that closed at 10, 11, midnight or so, we would see a little different configuration there. But nonetheless, we're getting 1 character for the hour. We're skipping what's in, we're getting what's at position 0, which is that hour. We're skipping what's at position 1, which is the colon that separates the hour and the minutes. And then down here, we're starting at character 2, which is the first minute, picking up character 3, which is the singles of the first minute. So 30 minutes would be 3 and 0, right? And we're stopping at character 4, which would be the space that follows the minute. Either way, we've managed to grab both the hours and the minutes here, and we can concatenate them together and make a relative number. A number that says, okay, 6:15 is later than 6, and 7 o'clock is later than 6:15. We can do this with a simple concatenation based on our previous 2 equations. So let's say, boom, go ahead and start with our first, and then use a plus, and then the second. And we see that we now get 500 for 5 o'clock, 400 for 4 o'clock, 330 for 330, so on and so forth. And now I'm comfortable that we have data that we can treat as a number, and we can add a new column based on this so that we can do filtering. So remember, adding a new column is quite straightforward. We simply reference the data frame, and then we give the new column in square brackets and quotes, and then the assignment operator, which is a single equal sign, and then that equation that we just came up with a minute ago. Now this, of course, is a fairly large data set columns-wise, but if I scroll all the way to the right, we see that now we indeed do have this thing called close hour. And as I look, I do see we have some not a number values in there. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'm just going to say fill in A with 0. Now scroll to the right and we see 500, 400, and we see that the NADA numbers have been converted to 0. So this will make it a lot easier for the next couple of things that we're going to do, and we'll do in a future video. We'll do some sorting and aggregation based on this. Let's do one more change though. Let's take a look at the data type for this column. It says, okay, well, dtype O must be some type of object. Let's go ahead and convert this to numeric. So for that, I'm going to reassign the column. So note that I use the pandas toNumeric function to convert this single column to a numeric column, and then I reassign it to the original column, and then we can confirm the dtype. And we see that now we have an int. Int makes sense here because I basically converted the hour and the minutes to a number that's usually in hundreds. So int makes sense there, and that's something that we can use to sort and aggregate our data. So let's pick up with that in our next video. Thanks for watching. I look forward to reading your feedback.